Welcome to the Call Guys podcast, co-hosted by Kevin Hopp and Ronen Passar. This podcast is all about sales development and the art and science of building high-performing outbound sales teams. Tune in weekly to hear live cold calls and also to hear Kevin and Ronen interview some of the top names in sales development. Let's dive right into this week's episode and see what we can learn. This episode is brought to you by Connect and Sell, your live conversation weapon. Teams that use Connect and Sell average 5 to 10 times more live conversations every day with their prospects. As a cold calling consultant, I've used every platform out there, and simply put, Connect and Sell is the Cadillac of the sales acceleration space. If you haven't tried it out, your team can try it for free by clicking the link in the show notes below. Hey, this is Kevin with the Call Guys. Yeah, you don't know me, and this is what some people might call a cold call. I apologize for the interruption. Did I catch you with a minute and I can explain exactly why I'm calling? Fantastic. So as I mentioned, my name is Kevin Hopp. I'm actually the co-founder of a business called The Call Guys. We've worked with a number of different cybersecurity firms, not unlike yours, to help them really transform their outbound sales motion. We specialize in things just like this, helping your team cold call effectively at scale. Do you have an outbound sales motion today? Oh, wow. That's fantastic. You guys have inbound figured out, or let me guess, is it heavily partner driven, channel driven? Right on. That makes a lot of sense. You know, our biggest client here at the Call Guys is a cybersecurity firm, and they found that by augmenting the efforts they had going on in the channel and doing things like channel call blitzes and partner call blitzes, they were able to really maximize the effectiveness of their sales organization. Has that something like that ever come across your desk? Ever thought about doing something like that? Okay, makes a ton of sense. Do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn? That way you'll kind of see what we're all about, and maybe if anything kind of piques your interest, you can reach out that way. Nice, cool. All right, sent you a invite. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers.
Take us through it, Kev. What happened? Take us through it. What's the play-by-play? We're waiting.
Okay, so right guy, right type of company, cyber. Dude, we crush cyber, right? And so I was trying to get that point across to Brian that, like, hey man, you run a cyber company. We help cyber companies crush it, right? I wasn't lying, guys. For the audience, none of that was a lie. Our biggest customer is a cybersecurity firm. Ronen, you know, your background is in cybersecurity. I've worked with a number of cybersecurity companies as well. Said that they do not do any outbound. They did it in the past, did not see a return, and they are heavily invested and completely focusing on their channel partner relationships. That's the only thing. Yeah. So you heard me kind of go at that and say, like, hey, look, I totally get it. A lot of our customers are doing the same thing, but they found that by adding outbound calling, they were able to multiply the effectiveness. And he did not take the bait and said, yeah, thanks. No, thank you. But he was nice. So net, not a loss, because I got a connection on LinkedIn, and he's the right type of person that we want to be connected to.
I'm curious why it didn't work. That might have been the one thing I would have asked around, but like, that's a great approach, right? So like when someone goes, no, can't forget, like 30% of your market, according to the Chet Holmes buyer pyramid, is never, ever going to buy. They're not on the market. They're not going to buy. So that means 3 out of 10 connects will likely be hard no's. This could have been 1. Like, familiar with the approach, already did it. That's a respectable no. I've evaluated this approach. We just don't do outbound. It doesn't work for us. Now, why? What was that? Maybe he's talking about an agency. I don't know. But let's take it at face value for the sake of this point. Like, 30% of your market will never buy. 3% of your market is currently looking for something today. 7% of your market is open to what you have to do. So it means 10%, 1 out of 10 conversations, you'll stumble into like an actual meeting because they'll be on the market. Then we've got like that middle 60%, and that's who we cold call for, right? We just talked about this in boot camp. You cold call for that middle 60% because those are the folks who can be influenced. They're influenceable. They're the people who are like, I'm not really thinking about this, but yeah, I have that problem. Or I don't really think I have that problem, but when you say it that way, I realize I do. And that's how we write the script and how we ultimately end up, going after specific pain points. We talk about business problems, valuable solutions. Kevin, you know what I'm doing right now.
That's right. That's right. I'm a huge fan of that. And if you think back to that talk track I just had, there's definitely a lot of probing and provoking going on.
Oh yeah.
This is something that I've said a few times on a few podcasts, and we just talked about it also in boot camp, which is if cold calling was just showing up saying, "Hey, what's up? I sell this stuff. Do you want to buy this stuff?" If that's all cold calling was, we should all pack it up and go home because ChatGPT will replace us all, and the world's going to collapse. The good news is that cold calling is really about sales conversations, and it's dynamic, and it is not just about saying, "Hi, I sell. Do you want to buy? I'm selling. Do you want to buy? I'm selling. Do you want to buy?" It's actually about having that conversation and going back and forth, trying to understand people's businesses. So that was a good one. Onward and upward. Yeah. Back with you.
And while I'm dialing here, I might connect, but I'm going to bring it back to a point I was about to make, and then you connected. Let's see if I can jog my memory. We were talking about, lowest hanging fruit. So one thing I wanted to call out for everyone, this is a huge nugget. Like when I figured this out, I was like, all right, great. That saved me a ton of effort. If you've got a channel that this person engages in, they're active on LinkedIn, they answer their phone, you've gotten email replies, start with that channel. You got to validate your channels, but if you don't, use the information you have. So like I just connected with someone before Kevin did, gave me a name. I'm connected with that person on LinkedIn. I already sent her a DM. That's where you want to start. You want to start with the lowest hanging fruit in terms of the channel. And then I'm going to go look for a phone number and call, and then I'm going to try email. So when it comes to the multi-channel approach, start with the warmest channel possible.
And this is, a great angle to emphasize how important social selling is, like LinkedIn, like putting a face to the name. Having a large LinkedIn network, having a large LinkedIn presence, something I advocate every salesperson do, because you can have things that, just like what you just did, Ronan, like you can have those happenstance things like, hey, look, I'm already connected to her. So now when you're reaching out to her, it's your face. It's Ronan, the personality, knows your content. There's some context there. So if you are a seller and you're watching this or you're listening to this and you're not on LinkedIn, you're not posting, and you're not, generating some buzz, what are you doing? You got to do that. It's a really good way to follow up to these conversations that you have.
Exactly. All right. Let's get the list going. Here we go. I do like calling salespeople. It's way more fun than marketers. I found CMOs are rough.
Yeah. I've done a number of campaigns when I was running my outbound as service businesses with marketers, and they are brutal.
Just straight up savages.
Savages on the phone. Don't like just slamming people,
Oh man. Remember that call where this was a call recording from ages ago. It's like, don't call me. Take my name off your list. I didn't ask for you to reach out to me. Like, don't ever call me again. And the person was just like, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It was so brutal. Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, I'm fantastic. How are you doing? Yeah, this is Ronan Passar with the call guys. Look, I know nobody likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Tuesday afternoon here. I can keep it super brief, and then you can decide if you want to keep having the conversation. Is that fair? All right. Well, question for you. Are you still overseeing the business development team at? So myself and my partner, we do cold call training, just like I'm doing right now. All right. You bet, Anthony. Take care. So this guy had a business development title, but the other kind, not the sales kind. So he goes, oh, I'm not the right person. Take him off the list.
Well, Ronan, do you want to try to get another one, or should we wrap it up?
Why don't we wrap with some lessons, some takeaways? So 3 things that I think matter from top to bottom of the call. With your opener, try to keep it extremely short and something that pulls the prospect in. I go with, hey, Kevin, super warm and friendly. And then I hit him with the permission-based opener after telling them who I am and where I'm calling from. The second thing is like, if you want to get the conversation going, start with a probing and then a provoking question. So like in our case, if I'm doing cold call training, my probing question is like, hey, just out of curiosity, do you already have a way to make sure your cold callers are able to schedule a meeting a day from cold calling? So it gets them thinking about like, do I have a way to do that or not? And then I transition it with a disarming statement, something that's like, look, I'm not a gotcha or anything. I'm not trying to call your baby ugly here or say that you have no idea how to cold call, but that's actually why I was reaching out. You know, my partner and I teach a method that allows for a much higher conversion rate from conversation to meeting. Would it be totally crazy if we found some time to discuss this on Thursday at 4 p.m. for 30 minutes? You go for a specific ask on the close. You go for no oriented asking. That's the third tip there. So top to bottom, we have a whole process. We teach this in the boot camp.
That's right.
You know, it sort of mirrors what Jordan Belfort did with the straight line model and all the other great people out there, but it's better and and tested and proven and modern. So that's it for me. Kev, what do you want to sign off with?
Everybody tune in 2 weeks. We are going to have a great session with none other than Troy Barter. Really excited about that.
Yeah.
Let's give a quick shout out once again to our sponsor, Connect and Sell. Thank you so much for sponsoring this show. And everybody, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Happy dialing, y'all.